Yo, what is up, guys? So, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the new Call of Duty Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta. Now, I'm going to answer a lot of your guys' questions and primarily go over these 2 points. What is new with the new Call of Duty, and is the game actually good? Which is technically subjective, but, you know, what's new, that's definitely something that we can make it objective. But anyways, I'm going to make it kind of in like a review style and also give my input. Keep in mind that this is just the beta. However, a lot of people want to kind of use this as a baseline for if they should get the game, as well as, you know, wanting to know more information about it. So, really quickly, the gameplay that you guys are going to be seeing obviously is from the beta. Now, I have actually maxed out the level. Currently, right now, it is 25, which means you can get it in several hours. I don't know, like 9 hours-ish. You should be able to max out on it. Now, there are a lot of things that have been fixed through the beta even. They've actually patched it already. One thing that a lot of people were talking about, and I definitely agree with this, is the game does not feel anywhere near completion. And we are definitely really close to the point of the game being out. However, sometimes, guys, keep in mind that when it comes down to like a beta, they usually use a more stable version of the game. Some of the new stuff might have some bugs, so that's why we're on like an older version of the game, if that makes any sense. But anyways, to answer a lot of you guys' questions, first off, can you quickscope? The answer is yes, but it's not like Black Ops 2 quickscoping where it's a lot more simple and the aim assist is just absolutely astronomical. But, yeah, you can technically still quickscope in the game. You will be getting technically a lot of hit markers due to the health pool in the game, and that's something that we'll talk about in a second, which is the time to kill. Now, over on the bottom left, you'll see how much HP I have. It has 150. You can actually gain up to 50 additional during armor. You can also get 50 additional points via a ultimate ability that Crash has, which is like the healer class of the game. But don't worry, this game isn't like Overwatch where you need a healer, you need DPS, you need tank. Those things will help you push. However, they're not going to be something that you really need to focus in on. However, the game definitely wants to incorporate a little bit more team play with the class setups. I'll mention a little bit more about that in a second. So, the time to kill definitely feels a little bit longer depending on the gun that you are using. If you're using a sniper, you're going to be able to still one-shot people. It almost feels like it requires one more bullet to consistently kill someone versus the previous iteration of Call of Duties. With the exception of people running armor, which a lot of people do run in this game. But, yeah, armor is going to give you about 25% more HP, unless there's some strange integer with armor which reduces the damage by a flat integer, which is not explained. Basically, what it seems like it's doing is it's giving you 25 additional health. But, anyways, first thing I want to address. Guns in this game limit the attachments that you would normally have in a normal Call of Duty game. Normally in another Call of Duty game, you'd be able to throw a quick draw, a suppressor, all these things stock on your guns. By the way, stock is more like Black Ops 3 stock. That was another question that I had asked. Black Ops 2 stock is so much faster. The game kind of feels a little bit slower because you can't really jetpack. However, when you do get one of the perks Dexterity, which is unlocked like later down the line, it's like 20-something I want to say, the gameplay is a lot faster because what you can do is when you are sliding, you're going to actually slide for a longer distance. Yeah, just that's kind of just more of a heads up thing. It seems kind of like a backwards idea to me, at least personally, where, you know, you're limiting what the players can do because, well, you're making it so we have less attachments on guns, but you can double up on attachments. That's something that would be considered new in here because you can run, like, let's say, for example, Quick Draw and the Quick Draw 2, which would then let you basically Quick Draw better. So it's basically running 2 attachments that are the same on certain guns. And certain guns also have an operator, it's basically a gun-specific attachment, but you also have to unlock that. It's usually really far down the line. It's basically when you're maxing out the weapon. By the way, you can't kill the fish in the game, or the crabs. That was another question that was asked. It's pretty much irrelevant. I figured I'd just mention it, alright? But anyways, yeah, guns limit your attachments in the game. That's something that is technically new. The score streaks are pretty much all the same. There's nothing new with the score streaks. Some people argued that the score streaks were too hard to get, especially in modes like TDM. However, because the game gives you a lot of score streaks via your abilities, because that's something that is technically new. So not only do you have like a specialist ultimate ability, which in TDM you usually get like once or twice. You need to be really good if you're getting it twice per game. But basically you get it like once or twice during the entire match. And then you have an ability that has, like, it depends on the ability. Certain cooldowns are a lot shorter than others, but the character that I'm playing has a grenade. When you throw it, explodes, and it goes into smaller grenades. And that's on a much, much shorter cooldown. Again, it depends on the character that you're playing. One thing I want to mention, the RC is really, really strange right now. The game definitely feels like it's not necessarily ready, especially with the RCXD. Like, if you get it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's very difficult to control. It doesn't, like, turn properly. A lot of people have mentioned that Treyarch's vision of Black Ops 4 was something completely different, and then they released this game, like, really, really fast because whatever they had, Activision was like, no, you can't, we don't want this. And so they had to go all the way back and kind of remake a game really fast, because for 3 years to look at this, it does definitely feel like it was kind of rushed, or they took a lot of assets. In fact, most of the specialists and almost everything in the game is recycled from Black Ops 3, which not necessarily is a bad thing. I personally still think Black Ops 3 is a great game, but I just really wish there was a lot more new things. But I want to also address the inconsistency that people were talking about as far as like time to kill and stuff like that. That can definitely be host dependent. This game does still have dedicated servers, but it also technically has hosts, that because when a host breaks the game or leaves the game, it breaks the game and basically no one gets any XP for the entire game. That's something that's dumb, but that definitely shows that there are still hosts in Black Ops 4. So not every game is going to be a dedicated server. But anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is how viable is this game in competitive. There's that grenade, by the way, so the guy ends up killing me with a shotgun, but my grenade exploded and got him anyways. First off, the competitive aspect of the game, because that's primarily what I play when I stream Call of Duty, and I think some of you guys that maybe still followed me back in Black Ops 3 that are watching this video right now, you know, are wondering, you know, are you going to be streaming competitive? And I would say yes. You can't play competitive, by the way, right now in the multiplayer beta, but I want to say that there is so many imbalances, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But as far as competitive goes, the game definitely feels pretty decent. I see it being a game that I don't mind playing once in a while. Can I stream this game 8 hours a day every single day? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I would say I'd have to have my friends playing with me to really like have a lot more fun. In almost any game, it's usually going to be with your friends anyways. But I just wanted to mention that as well. But anyways, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the casual aspect of the game, because I mentioned there would be league play in the game. That's what I primarily focus in on when I stream and when I upload content anyways. That's what I want to focus in on, is the competitive aspect of the game. But as far as casuals, I don't think casuals will enjoy this game as much for a few different reasons. The game definitely has a skill ceiling that I feel like you can reach it relatively easy if you've played Call of Duty games, but because there's a few new mechanics like the self-healing, speaking of like, new things, because that's what this video is mostly about, it's talking about the new things. But I want to actually move over to some other gameplay here. By the way, I reached max rank. I felt like that was kind of important because there are people that are making videos and talking about like the game itself and mentioning you know, they like the game, they don't like the game, but I feel like you should at least max out on the game to at least try all the different weapons, and I've tried every single weapon in the game, with the exception of some of the attachments. I haven't unlocked every single attachment on every single gun, but I've unlocked all the guns. You just unlock them as you level up, but the level cap currently is 25. I've reached max level, so I feel like sometimes people are too rushy to get out a video to YouTube, and you know, I played it all day yesterday without even making a video because I wanted to really focus in on making sure like I could mention certain things in the game. So anyways, for casuals, like I said, I feel like they try to make you play in a team aspect here, and I'm going to show you guys, I guess, the like customization here in just a second, but I wanted to briefly mention like the casual side of the game. I want to say, because they really kind of want you to play as a team for certain game modes. The new game mode where you basically have to capture it. There's 2 points and you have to capture them. I'll definitely give you guys gameplay of it soon, but I just kind of want to make this like a general like blanket video to talk about a lot of the concerns and questions that you guys had. But you'll see over here like the attachments. There's really nothing too new in the game, and that's one thing that I feel like it's a little bit disappointing to me, at least. But that's not necessarily a bad thing if you really liked, previous Call of Duty games. But I really prefer the jetpacks. That's my honest opinion on the game. Is I liked Black Ops 3 had something completely different, right? Even though like I didn't really like Advanced Warfare as much as I did Black Ops 3 with the whole like boost mechanic, at least they were different enough to feel a little bit more refreshing, and it's just newer content. There's the operator mod that I was talking about. So they're very specific to certain guns. In fact, some of them aren't even like ready yet. And again, for them to take 3 years to not even have a lot of like guns and stuff, because some of the gun categories, there's only a few of them in the first place, which I really feel like there really should have been a lot more content, even for the multiplayer beta. I understand they don't want to release like everything, but there's certain things that aren't even in the game. I'm talking about certain guns are missing like not only attachments because like that's kind of how the game is operated, but they're missing their like operator mod, which is kind of important because it's like supposed to be like what the gun excels at, and it's going to make it excel at even more. So for example, if you're using the gun that fires as fast as possible, right? They're going to give you an operator mod that maybe makes it fire faster. So basically you're like enhancing the biggest strength of that particular gun, and it's not even there. So that's a huge deal to me. But anyways, like I said, I've mentioned it, and a lot of people have mentioned it, that this game feels a little bit rushed. I agree with it, but at the end of the day, if the game is good and it's a little bit rushed as far as the beta goes, and for stability issues, that can make sense. But anyways, I briefly wanted to mention the specialist balance. The specialists are not balanced at all. Like, it's not even, like, anyone that plays even casually can understand this. So, for example, Ruin has the ability to use a grapple hook, which can projectile him forward. You're basically locked in that animation, as far as I'm aware of, with the exception of using your ultimate, which will just do like it's basically the gravity spikes from Black Ops 3. But the thing is, because you're locked in, oh gosh, hold on, we were looking at someone's like Twitch emotes there for a second. But anyways, because you're locked into that animation, like, it really limits what you can do. And it's on a very short cooldown. But you cannot compare that ability that's on even like a 10-second, whatever the cooldown is. You can't compare that ability to having attack insert for your entire team in a hardpoint match. Completely imbalanced. In fact, I want to say that these could maybe be things that they would fix in the future, which I hope get addressed via looking at the stats on the beta, like KD ratio of certain specialists and how well they're performing, how often people are picking certain specialists. But yeah, I think the specialist balance definitely needs a lot of work. But at the same time, that's something that could easily be addressed in the future. I don't think changing integers, or even if they have the protect and ban system, for those of you guys that played at Black Ops 3 competitive, you know what I'm talking about. And I think that would be a great addition to the game. But next thing I wanted to mention is the frame rate issues. A lot of people were talking about this as well, which is, I play on the PS4 Pro, and I was getting variable frame rates. However, with the latest update, which I don't know exactly what time it came out, but it definitely has improved the frame rates of this game. But anyways, that's just something I want to mention. Again, you can't compare like an ammo crate pack that gives you like 25% more score streak to, again, attack insert for your entire team to basically control a spawn point, especially if you're playing competitive and hardpoint. That's something that's super, super, super important, and that just feels really imbalanced. Anyways, a few people also mentioned that the score streaks were really hard to get. Like, it was 5 or 6 kills to get a UAV, whereas previous Call of Duty, you can run something like Hardline and get it in like 2 kills, right? The thing is that because they want you to kind of play the objective, and because you have certain abilities, like for example, the armor pack that I just threw down on the ground, this is kind of the healer class in the game, if you will. And basically, I'm able to give people ammo packs, and on top of that, I'm going to be able to get additional score streak if I actually get kills after I pick up the ammo pack. And also when my teammates pick up the ammo pack, it tries to incorporate a little bit more team play, definitely. But it's not like Rainbow Six. It's not like Overwatch at all. People that are saying that, they're being a little bit, I'd say a little dramatic over there. I'm going to actually bump this up because for some reason I decided to go back to 720p. But we got to keep it 1080p, 60 FPS. Anyways, next thing I wanted to talk about is feeling helpless in the game. There are different things, like, for example, the dog. One of the heroes has a dog that you can just get. And it definitely makes you feel super helpless when a dog with, like, I would say it's like got 300 plus HP. It's got a decent amount, right? You're not going to really take it out with just one clip when it's rushing you, for the most part. It's usually too small target. It's too fast. It's going to jump up, and it's going to one-shot you. Feeling helpless in a game, to me, is very, very bad. Even though I understand that ultimates need to feel powerful, because that's one of the characters' ultimate is to get a dog. I don't really feel like that encourages competitive aspects of a game, but I understand that's part of this whole like hero shooter genre is, you got to make the ultimates feel good. But the next thing I want to mention is like the stun. There's a guy that has a little, basically it's like an RC card that just rolls and it searches out for someone and then it stuns them. You can, however, hit a button, so you could argue it's a get good thing, but realistically you're still having to hit a button, you're still having to shoot it, because it just goes up to you and it stuns you and you can't really do too much other than shoot at it. If you shoot at it, it will die, but you can press a button and it'll basically cancel it. But it's not the easiest thing to do consistently, but it is something where it makes you feel helpless, and it's like, I can't do anything about that. Again, going back to what I was mentioning before, where you can increase your HP to even 200 via just, there's an ultimate ability. My ultimate ability gives everyone on my entire team that is alive at the time 200 HP. So basically it'll go, even if they're at 150, it'll give them 200 because it'll increase the maximum amount for a set duration. But feeling helpless in a game is terrible. Like, just being stunned in a game is not fun for the person getting stunned, and that's something that sometimes it feels like you don't have control over. Although if you run one of the perks like Engineer, which is something that I consistently run, that allows you to kind of see where it is and you can shoot it before it actually gets to you. So again, you can argue it's a get good thing, but when someone has body armor and you shoot them and you see that they have anything under 50 HP, you're gonna be like, yo, if he didn't have body armor, I would have won the fight. And that's a little bit disappointing, because the way body armor works, it's not something where it just consistently is going to be on your character after you heal up. Basically, it gets used once and that's it. I've heard tons and tons of people complaining about it. I myself have complained about it. I myself have used it. I personally prefer the acoustic sensor. If you're wondering, like, what are the best things, in my opinion, I will make a separate video on that, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that. But to me, that is a little bit frustrating to deal with, especially for people that are really good at the game, because putting 2 to 3 extra bullets in someone can be difficult at times, especially when you know that you would have won the gunfight if they didn't have the armor. So also another thing was that was asked a lot of times is like, why am I not playing Battle Royale mode? There is no Battle Royale mode as of right now, and it's just the Call of Duty multiplayer aspect of the game. But as far as like the maps feeling good and stuff, there's also a huge change to the minimap. You guys will see on the top left, there's like this fog of war, so basically where it's like dark gray or like black. I can't really have vision of that area unless someone is there or someone is actually firing, or there's certain like different little abilities that people have. One can shoot a sensor dart and it'll reveal an area around it for yourself and the teammates. But as far as like this game feeling like new or refreshing, or like what's different in this game, there really isn't honestly too much. Everything does feel recycled, but again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. People were talking about comparing it to Black Ops 3. I personally feel like Black Ops 3 is a much better game. It's much more polished, although that game still has issues with connectivity. But at the end of the day, that's kind of relevant in every game, But as far as, again, the differences in the game, the healing might be like one of the biggest things, and it doesn't actually change the game that much. I'm activating my ultimate to heal, and you're seeing my HP go to 200. But I think that as far as another question that was asked, which was, is COD back again, and is it going to beat Fortnite? Not even close, dude. I mean, we could just use this as an example for the stat. We're at the weekend here. Whoops. What is this? This is, oh, that's a video. This is what I want to show off. Okay, okay, I'm gonna maximize this. So Fortnite. This is the screenshot I was taken like a little bit right before I started recording the video. Fortnite. I know that there are some games that are doing tournaments. Like Street Fighter is not usually like the most popular game on Twitch unless there's a big tournament, right? But look at Fortnite. Okay. And then compare to Call of Duty. We're looking at completely different integers. We're looking at 500,000, although there's a summer skirmish, I understand. But Fortnite is usually about 200K. I consistently look at these numbers for viability on streaming a game. I'm going to go ahead and just go back a little bit here just so there's more content while I'm talking about it. But anyways, Fortnite, we're looking at completely different integers here. 500K or even 200K compared to 31K. I mean, League, PUBG, heck, IRL, they're doing better than Black Ops 4. I honestly expected this game to be #1. As far as I'm aware, I never saw this as #1. Fortnite was still #1. This was actually #2. It had 100K at one point. But at the end of the day, I still think that is a fun game, but is it so much different? Is it worth getting back into if you haven't played COD in a long time and you really enjoyed COD? Perhaps. Now, this is the mode that I was mentioning before where, it's more team-oriented. You basically have to capture 2 zones. You have live, so it incorporates more team play because if you have terrible teammates, they're just going to run, they're just going to die out, and then you don't respawn, basically. But I still think that Black Ops 3 is a better game overall. That's my personal opinion on it because this was a question that was asked. I feel like if Call of Duty wants any chance at being the king on Twitch or the most popular game on YouTube like it used to be, you're definitely going to have to do it with a battle royale. The base multiplayer game, unless they do some drastic changes, I don't think they can really change the game too much, honestly. It's kind of just something that perhaps they decided to go for a more safe route. Again, people were talking about how the game was supposed to be super different than a conventional Call of Duty game. And it definitely does feel like that. It feels like they kind of just put this together at the last minute. Look at that round win. Everyone was on one side of the map and yeah, basically you capture the zones and you get a round point. First to 3 wins. Anyways, overall my thoughts on this game. Will I be playing it? The answer is yes. I will be mixing this and Fortnite on my channel as of right now. Like, cause any streamer or YouTuber that like wants to do like this, you know, as like a full-time job or just wants to do it, they want views at the end of the day. They could say, oh, I don't really care about views. But when you look at Fortnite and it's more than 10 times the amount of views, do you think a content creator is going to put the same amount of effort in a Call of Duty video versus a Fortnite video where they're getting 10 times the revenue? Or even more than that, because if you think about like subscribers and like longevity of their channel life, they have to consider that, right? I'll be straight up honest with you guys. There's no way that they're going to want to put it in the same amount of effort. If they're a mixed content creating channel, right? But for me, I enjoy the competitive aspect. I will play the competitive side even if it gets technically less views because that is what I enjoy personally more. But at the end of the day, again, people are just going to want to put more effort into, you know, Fortnite perhaps. If they're most COD creators, you guys know, left for Fortnite, okay? But I still think that it's an okay game. It's much better than World War II, I'll definitely tell you that, as far as my personal take on it. But we're activating an ultimate here. This is kind of cool ultimate. It basically like radiates an ammo. You can actually kill people with it. You can actually kill yourself with it as well. But anyways, yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I will be streaming it. I will be playing it. But I hope Battle Royale really saves this game. Because if not, I don't think this is going to be like a top 3 game on Twitch. It just doesn't seem to be a viable option. But I will be streaming it from time to time. But I'll also be streaming Fortnite. I mean, I legitimately do think Fortnite is the greatest game. Not only for streamers because of the, you know, I guess, popularity of it, but also the game, it gets updated so frequently, and they've definitely catered towards, you know, easy access. Oh, another thing I wanted to briefly mention before I make this a half-an-hour video, dang. Okay, so Fortnite is going to not be dethroned by this game for 2 reasons. Okay, 1, Fortnite is free. 2, it is family-friendly, right? Like, compared to this game, it's completely different, right? You get so many people that normally don't play games that just play Fortnite and they want to play with their friends. That's a huge deal. People were like, they were on my stream like, how do I download the beta? And like they're like my regular like viewers. They're like, I want to play with you. Maybe they play Fortnite or whatever. And they're like, I want to play with you. And I'm like, well, you have to pre-order the game. I'm like, what? And like they were confused. And I don't know. I understand younger generation. They look at games a little bit differently. What do you mean? What is a pre-order? What is the game? Early access? You know, those kinds of things. They might just be new to it. I understand, just because, you know, there's a lot of people that came into Fortnite that, you know, aren't normally gamers. But anyways, I ranted long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Those are my thoughts personally on it. But let me know yours down below. I actually want to read a lot of comments that you guys post on this. And in fact, I'll try to read every single comment in this video because I was really hyped up for this game. And it's still a decent game for competitive, but I think casually, it's not that great for, I would say, a very, very casual audience. I still think the game's cool, but again, there's really nothing new. There's no, like, real incentive for, I think, a lot of the veterans to come back and play Call of Duty. But again, these are my thoughts. Share me yours down below in the comment section below. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. If you enjoyed the vid, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more Call of Duty content. And I'm probably going to be streaming this game later tonight, so follow me on Twitch. I'll definitely deliver on that good, high KD content. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.